Yertle the Turtle and Other Stories by Dr. Seuss. Congress shall make no law. The birth and rebirth of law. Long, long ago, in the days before law, a real need existed for maw and for paw. They did have some conflicts. They did have disputes. They needed a judge with a brain that computes, a harmonization resolving their gripes, a just resolution that fixes their pipes. And that is how law evolved out of thin air from a need in the marketplace, pure laissez-faire. The judges made choices, the people they paid for the wisdom that sparkles and never does fade. And these judges recorded their judgments in books. If our story stopped here, we'd have much fewer crooks. But law was then claimed by a self-proclaimed king. A dreaded crowned ruffian made it his thing. Now law is whatever the government passes. You know what they pass, for you can smell the gases. 1775, Patrick Henry. 1776, Tom Paine. 1776, Resolution of Independence, John Adams' letter to Abigail. The Declaration of Independence. 1781, the Articles of Confederation and Perpetual Union. 1787, Patrick Henry, declining an invitation to the Constitutional Convention of the summer of 1787. I smell a rat. 1787, September 17th, the proposed U.S. Constitution. The Congress shall have power to make all laws which shall be necessary and proper. 1787, October 1st, Richard Henry Lee. I have waited until now to answer your favor of September 18th from Philadelphia, that I might inform you how the convention plan of government was entertained by Congress. Your prediction of what would happen in Congress was exactly verified. It was with us, as with you, this or nothing, and this urged with a most extreme intemperance. The greatness of the powers given and the multitude of places to be created produces a coalition of monarchy men, military men, aristocrats, and drones, whose noise, impudence, and zeal exceeds all belief. 1788, June 5th, Patrick Henry at the Virginian Ratifying Convention. This alarming transition from a confederacy to a consolidated government. Here is a revolution as radical as that which separated us from Great Britain. It is said 8 states have adopted this plan. I declare that if 12 states and a half had adopted it, I would with manly firmness and in spite of an erring world reject it. You are not to inquire how your trade may be increased, nor how you are to become a great and powerful people, but how your liberties can be secured. For liberty ought to be the direct end of your government. 1831, William Lloyd Garrison. 1857, Frederick Douglass. 1868, Mark Twain. Reclamation of Independence by Thomas Jefferson, Mark Twain, Charles Bernard, Bartholomew Susian Safari Olson, and Dr. Seuss. When, in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for a person, no matter how small, to dissolve the political bands which have connected her with the government, no matter how large, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which she is entitled. A decent respect to the opinions of humankind requires that she declare the causes which impel her to the separation. On the far-away island of Salamasand, Yertle the turtle was king of the pond. A nice little pond. It was clean. It was neat. The water was warm. There was plenty to eat. The turtles had everything turtles might need, and they were all happy, quite happy indeed. They were, until Yertle, the king of them all, decided the kingdom he ruled was too small. "I'm ruler," said Yertle, "of all that I see, but I don't see enough, that's the trouble with me. With this stone for a throne, I look down on my pond, but I cannot look down on the places beyond. This throne that I sit on is too low down. It ought to be higher," he said with a frown. "If I could sit high, how much greater I'd be. What a king! I'd be ruler of all I could see." So Yertle the Turtle King lifted his hand, and Yertle the Turtle King gave a command. He ordered 9 turtles to swim to his stone, and using these turtles he built a new throne. He made each turtle stand on another one's back, and he piled them all up in a 9 turtle stack. And then Yertle climbed up. He sat down on the pile. What a wonderful view! He could see most a mile. "All mine," Yertle cried. "Oh, the things I now rule! I'm king of a cow, and I'm king of a mule. I'm king of a house, and what's more beyond that, I'm king of a blueberry bush and a cat. I'm Yertle the Turtle, oh marvelous me, for I am the ruler of all that I see." All humans are equal and are endowed with unalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Whenever any government becomes destructive, it is our right to abolish it. And all through that morning he sat there up high, saying over and over, "A great king am I," until long about noon. Then he heard a faint sigh. "What's that?" snapped the king, and he looked down the stack, and he saw at the bottom a turtle named Mac, just a part of his throne. And this plain little turtle looked up, and she said, "Beg your pardon, King Yertle. I've pains in my back and my shoulders and knees. How long must we stand here, your majesty? Please." Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be abolished for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shewn that humankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right ourselves by abolishing the governments to which we are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce us under absolute despotism, it is our right, it is our duty to throw off such government. Such has been my patient sufferance, and such is now my necessity. "Silence!" the king of the turtles barked back. "I'm king, and you're only a turtle named Mac. You stay in your place while I sit here and rule. I'm king of a cow, and I'm king of a mule. I'm king of a house, and a bush, and a cat. But that isn't all. I'll do better than that. My throne shall be higher," his royal voice thundered. "So pile up more turtles. I want 'bout 200. The fact is that the government, like a highwayman, says to a man, the fact is that the government, like a highwayman, says to a man, your money or your life. And many, if not most, taxes are paid under the compulsion of that threat. The government does not indeed waylay a man in a lonely place, spring upon him from the roadside, and holding a pistol to his head, proceed to rifle his pockets. But the robbery is none the less a robbery on that account, and it is far more dastardly and shameful. The highwayman takes solely upon himself the responsibility, danger, and crime of his own act. He does not pretend that he has any rightful claim to your money, or that he intends to use it for your own benefit. He does not pretend to be anything but a robber. He has not acquired impudence enough to profess to be merely a protector, and that he takes men's money against their will merely to enable him to protect those infatuated travelers who feel perfectly able to protect themselves, or do not appreciate his peculiar system of protection. He is too sensible a man to make such professions as these. "Turtles, more turtles!" he bellowed and brayed, and the turtles way down in the pond were afraid. They trembled, they shook, but they came, they obeyed. From all over the pond they came swimming by dozens, whole families of turtles with uncles and cousins. And all of them stepped on the head of poor Mac. One after another they climbed up the stack. Furthermore, having taken your money, he leaves you as you wish him to do. He does not persist in following you on the road against your will, assuming to be your rightful sovereign on account of the protection he affords you. He does not keep protecting you by commanding you to bow down and serve him, by requiring you to do this and forbidding you to do that, by robbing you of more money as often as he finds it for his interest or pleasure to do so, and by branding you as a rebel, a traitor, and an enemy to your country, and shooting you down without mercy if you dispute his authority or resist his demands. He is too much a gentleman to be guilty of such impostures and insults and villainies as these. In short, he does not, in addition to robbing you, attempt to make you either his dupe or his slave. Lysander Spooner, 1870. Then Yertle the turtle was perched up so high he could see 40 miles from his throne in the sky. "Hooray!" shouted Yertle, "I'm king of the trees, I'm king of the birds, and I'm king of the bees. I'm king of the butterflies, king of the air. Ah me, what a throne, what a wonderful chair. I'm Yertle the turtle, oh marvelous me, for I am the ruler of all that I see." Then again from below in the great heavy stack came a groan from that plain little turtle named Mac. "Your Majesty, please, I don't like to complain, but down here below we are feeling great pain. I know up on top you are seeing great sights, but down at the bottom we too should have rights. We turtles can't stand it, our shells will all crack. Besides, we need food. We are starving," groaned Mac. The history of the federal government of the United States of America is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. Our federal government spends inexorably more and ever more, its spending being the truest measure of its growth. To finance its ever-increasing spending, our federal government inflates the money supply and taxes and borrows more and ever more, with no limit to its voracious appetite. Our federal government harasses and incarcerates individuals for peaceful, voluntary, nonviolent behavior, fomenting an immoral and counterproductive war on drugs. Our federal government detains individuals indefinitely without trial or charges. Our federal government has created a large and unknown number of spy agencies which spy upon our people, and indeed upon all the people of the world. Our federal government has constructed hundreds of military bases spread around the globe. Our federal government has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. "You hush up your mouth," howled the mighty King Yertle. "You've no right to talk to the world's highest turtle. I rule from the clouds, over land, over sea. There's nothing, no, nothing that's higher than me." But while he was shouting, he saw with surprise that the moon of the evening was starting to rise up over his head in the darkening skies. "What's that?" snorted Yertle. "Say, what is that thing that dares to be higher than Yertle the king? I shall not allow it. I'll go higher still. I'll build my throne higher. I can and I will. I'll call some more turtles. I'll stack 'em to heaven. I need about 5,607. Our federal government has become a cowardly, rotten, degraded, mischievous, rotten, and unspeakable nasty nest of dynastic departments, with brainless battalions of bookkeeping, pencil-sharpening strumpets, and whole regiments of ignorant, characterless, chuckle-headed consuls, who will, in their own good time, bring destruction upon this broad-shouldered fabric of ours. But as Yertle the Turtle King lifted his hand and started to order and give the command, that plain little turtle below in the stack, that plain little turtle whose name was just Mac, decided she'd taken enough, and she had. And that plain little lass got a little bit mad, and that plain little Mac did a plain little thing. She burped. "Therefore I, a peaceful person, by the authority inherent in peaceful persons everywhere, do solemnly publish and declare that I am, and of right ought to be, a free and independent person. I am absolved from all allegiance to the federal government of the United States of America. All political connection between me and that government is and ought to be totally dissolved. As a free and independent person, I have the right to live my life in peace and to do all other acts and things that an independent person may of right do." And her burp shook the throne of the king. And Yertle the Turtle, the king of the trees, the king of the air and the birds and the bees, the king of a house and a cow and a mule, well, that was the end of the Turtle King's rule. For Yertle, the king of all Salamasond, fell off his high throne and fell plunk in the pond. And today the great Yertle, that marvelous he, is king of the mud, that is all he can see. And the turtles, of course, all the turtles are free, as turtles, and maybe, all creatures should be. Thank you, Dr. Seuss, 1958. Signed, Charles Bernard Bartholomew Susian Safari Olson, 18th of February, 2019. Has it ever struck you as odd that the very best part of our U.S. Constitution is amendments? I propose that we close a few loopholes in our beloved First Amendment such that it reads, in its entirety, Congress shall make no law. What's this? Alpha Beta Constitution? 26 rules? That's a good number. I think I could live with that. So what can we do to reclaim our dear law? The solution is waiting. Ask Ma and ask Pa. They still have some conflicts. They still have disputes. They still need a judge with a brain that computes. So offer your services. Charge a low fee in the judicial marketplace, land of the free. Congress shall make no law. Our beloved First Amendment revised. Laws. Laws and rules and laws help us live together. Laws, rules, and laws, they help us live in peace. Congress makes many laws. Congress makes laws. 9 trillion and 96 million and 98 million and 94,092 pages of wonderful laws that do serve our Congress and its friends. No, laws need a strong foundation, like the rules I learned in preschool. No weapons. Stay in the park. Live in peace. No ganging up. Clean up your mess. That's why Congress shall make no law. That's right, Congress shall make no law.